Yo, what's up, friends?
Bro, I'm so tired. Psych, what up, everybody?
Welcome back to
The Nerd Guys Podcast.
Oh man,
Oh my
man,
gosh.
oh man. Whew. We've been doing this podcast for quite some time, haven't we?
Not that long. It's been a couple months.
Yeah, that's quite some time.
14 episodes.
Yeah.
Or technically 15 episodes, actually. So you nerds out there can debate that, or hold that one in your back pocket. That way you could be like, oh, the Nerd Guys did 14 episodes in their first season. Oh, well, actually, it was 15 episodes. They just counted their pilot as episode 0.
So, yeah, this is the second to last episode.
The preseason finale.
Yes, right. And what a preseason finale we have for you today. Today we're talking about retro games versus modern games.
It's funny, this topic literally came up when I talked to one. It came about because I spoke to one of my older cousins about it. You know, he's in his late 30s, early 40s.
Mm-hmm.
And I was asking him, like, what do you think, what games do you think were harder? Like, retro games or modern games? And he's like, retro games, definitely. And I agreed, but then the more I thought about it, I was like, I don't really know about that.
Well, retro games, and I wanted to write this, but I felt like this was more of a thing that I wanted to say was retro games were designed to sap your quarters, you know, because they're like arcade games. You go to the arcade, you go with like a bag of quarters, and depending on how hard or how good you were at the game, you either were leaving the arcade with no quarters or a bunch. And so, like, you know, video games kind of took that kind of style and you know, changed it. So, which is why, like, a lot of older games have like lives and hard like sections, weird checkpoints. You name it, the game has it.
But that's where I started thinking about it. A lot of new games for like newer consoles from the last 2 decades or so give you infinite lives, but they give you infinite lives because it would be insane to not have infinite lives because it's already super difficult. Because in my opinion, modern games are more complex than retro games. Like, it's more to do. They're more.
They enact the brain in various ways where you have to not only think on your feet, but there's like you're multitasking while in the game.
Well, I believe retro games do that as well.
Yeah.
But it's like modern games take retro games and turn it up to 10.
Yeah.
Like, in my head, they're just more complex. Like, some of the stuff that you have to do, like, in my head, take Portal, for example.
Oh, yeah, that's a good shout.
I've seen a lot of Portal played, but I've never played it. But it's like some of the puzzles you have to figure out are pretty heavy. Like, or even, you know, Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom. I've played both.
Yeah, and there's... if anyone's been watching my playthrough of Tears of the Kingdom, you see that I do not do the puzzles as they are intended. Because you know, the game kind of gives you that whole thing where you can kind of solve the puzzle how you want to. But, like, there's a part of my brain that's like, okay, this is not how they wanted me to do this.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
But I'm going to do it this way because this is how my brain is figuring it out.
Exactly, and I think that's why they made Tears of the Kingdom more open-ended, because they wanted to see how creative people would be.
I like your I agree with you because like modern games do test you in a lot of different ways. Like, you know, retro games, it was kind of an adrenaline rush.
Yeah.
Where, you know, if you're playing something like Crash Bandicoot, where it's like you're
2D side scrolling.
Yeah, like you're just going down this hallway, you're jumping, but you're trying to react in time because like maybe the button press is a little harder or softer or whatever. Like there's certain intricacies that like, oh man, it's like when you really learn it, it's like second nature. Versus modern games where like that can be second nature, but like for a game like, again, Tears of the Kingdom, you will never solve the puzzle the same way the first time you solved it.
Oh yeah, no. Like, not only that, take like Spider-Man Miles Morales or any Spider-Man game.
Yeah.
You like most games are like 2D side scrolling from retro games. And then they added a third element. Okay, you can move left and right, but you can also move up and down. You can move on the Z-axis.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you can move on the Y-axis. Then they got more complicated where you can move on the Z-axis. Now you can move forward, backwards, side, and diagonal.
It's perfect example is going from Link to the Past to Ocarina of Time. You know, I think that's what was it, 18 directions and then 16, I believe, or something like that.
Well, think about it. A lot of retro gamers, and by retro gamers I mean like gamers from the 80s that played in arcades, and by gamers from the 80s I know video games have we'll get to it, but
I make a very nice point about retro games, which, you know, we'll get to.
a lot of gamers from the start of gaming that used to play in arcades only had one joystick.
Yeah.
A lot of players nowadays have two joysticks. And I have an uncle who, you know, was an avid arcade gamer. Mm. And, you know, he could play he can play stuff that involves just, you know, really moving
one direction. Yeah.
But as soon as you give him something like, I don't know, Super Smash Bros.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, yeah, I can't figure this out. Because now you add another joystick, several buttons that do different things. And on top of that, you can string those different commands together to make combos.
I mean, it's like the first time where PlayStation added the DualShock.
Yeah.
And that was revolutionary for PlayStation at the time because they only had, you know, analog.
Yeah. Like, oh, you want one joystick? Oh, you know what's better than one? Two. And now we have bumper buttons as well.
Like a stick that controls you, and then a stick that controls
the camera,
and then a stick that and then the back buttons that can control your position or other commands and stuff like that.
Or nowadays act as sight guides to let you focus on something. Like, well, let's get started.
Yeah.
Let's get started.
So it's time to take a look into the world of video games.
Wait. Before we get into the history of video games.
Sure.
Let's try something different this time.
Okay.
Alright. I need you to take your quarter. Mm-hmm. I need you to put it in the slot. Okay, quarter is put in the slot. Now we're being sucked into the arcade game.
Woo!
It's what? 1950?
That's right.
Alright. Go for it.
Now, I'm fairly sure all of you know what a video game is, so I'll make this quick. The first type of video game were prototypes made in the 1950s and 60s that were extensions of electronic games using video-like output from large room-sized mainframe computers.
So for those of you who don't know, like, what literally when he says large room-sized mainframe computers, it means that, like, for all the new people listening, there used to be dedicated rooms with think of like a server room, only all those different servers were one computer. And that one computer used to punch out holes in paper, and those holes represent ones and zeros.
Yes.
If you ever want a good reference for what it looked like, check out The Imitation Game with Benedict Cumberbatch.
That's a good show. Yes.
Yeah, because like they do a pretty good job with a couple of scenes, showing how they created the computer that cracked the Nazi code, and that during World War, I think it was 1 or 2, or World War II, obviously, 2 or 1 or the other. But you can also check out what was it called? The movie about Steve Jobs.
Oh,
not Jobs, the other one.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
Crap. But anyway, they did a good job by highlighting like IBM, and there's a scene in that movie where IBM, like the manager of IBM or somebody like that, is standing in front of their mainframe computer room.
And also, ironically, look it up on the internet. There are images of these computer rooms, and this is like, computers were a big deal back then, because of the fact that they were they were rooms. That's why I'm saying like they're a big deal. That.
And the movie that I was referring to was Steve Jobs. It wasn't Jobs. It was... No. It was Jobs. The one... I'm not talking about the movie Steve Jobs. I'm talking about the movie Jobs with Ashton Kutcher.
Not Jobs. Steve Jobs.
Yes. Jobs, the movie Jobs,
yes,
does a good job at jobbing it up about jobs, and does a job thing with Jobs to show you jobs.
Did you get a job?
But no, they show a good job, or they do. I can't stop now. They do a good job showing what mainframe computers look like. But yes, take some time, get on Google, and look up what
a mainframe computer.
Yeah,
was.
Yeah, those things, and they got hot, like hot.
You have to see it. I remember the first time I saw a mainframe computer room, and I was like, wow, like that looks like something out of like what we do like for like Star Trek and stuff like that.
Yep. That's why seeing server rooms, like I've seen my job server room, and I'm like, bruh, that's crazy, because all these servers are against the back room or on these tiny little shelves, and they're like a bunch of little machines instead of like what you're talking about, which were like giant,
like imagine like giant bookshelves.
Exactly.
Of machinery
with a bunch of fans just blowing hot air out of them. Fun fact. Being a calculator used to be a job and a title.
Ah, yes, that's true.
Before calculators were
invented.
Yeah,
that's right.
or at least modern calculators before they were.
That's a good fun fact.
Hidden Figures. Check it out. We're not sponsored by any of these movies. These are just things that come up.
Now, vastly different to what most people are used to. However, if you are someone who plays games on the PC, this might feel right at home. In a previous episode, we spoke about The Legend of Zelda, which is a video game that was made in 1986 by Nintendo. Now, Legend of Zelda can be considered both a retro game and a modern game, which is today's topic.
Yeah, Legend of Zelda definitely can be considered retro, simply because it has thrived from the 80s until now.
Yes, and be familiar with a lot of games like that. I mean,
Spider-Man,
Yes.
Metroid,
Mario.
Batman, Mario.
Mhm.
Mario Kart came out on what, the Super Nintendo or
Yes.
yeah, and it's still a thing today. Mario Party, Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yes. I was gonna put retro gaming systems in there, but I did put some in here, but not the ones you would expect. And it's to make a.
Do we
make
get
a
to
little-
talk about Pong
oh,
or
oh,
Asteroids?
man. I had a great time.
Or Centipede?
I had a great time looking this up because I remembered all of like this because there was a movie on it. I don't remember the movie's name.
Pixels?
Maybe it might have been Pixels.
Adam Sandler?
Yes,
Pixels.
it was Pixels. And I was like, bro, this is awesome. Like it was just so good to just read all of this, and I was like, ah. And plus, a lot of gamers that I watch have had like talked about video game history.
Yep.
Especially when it comes to like history with like I remember one of my people that I watched talked about the history of Sony. I thought that was really interesting.
I'd definitely be down to watch a History of Sony episode. I've actually watched a history of arcade games, and I know like when arcade games started out, literally, for those of you who are too young to know what an arcade game is, they used to be games that were set up in a building called an arcade. You all, like, for those of you who are scoffing right now, you think I'm joking, but there are going to be people out there that do not actually know what an arcade game is.
I will say you might have come across it accidentally in a barcade.
Or if
If
you've
you're
ever
old
been,
enough.
yes, or if you've ever been to like the beach, how you see games set up in in arcades, but these used to be wooden boxes with like not neon light lit signs, but like signs lit by non-LED light bulbs. They were just regular incandescent light bulbs, and it was a television screen basically, a joystick or buttons
In both.
or both, and inside of that box was literally one like big motherboard that was the entire game. That's what tripped me out, the fact that inside that giant box, this one motherboard, like one giant motherboard, was the game.
Yep. So if you're familiar with Street Fighter 2, that was an arcade game.
Yep.
And I know you might be familiar with it because it's like Street Fighter 2 is available on like what, all consoles now, I think?
I think so. I think they released it for Microsoft, but I know for sure it's on PSN.
Yeah. So
It's a Capcom classic. Just like Marvel vs. Capcom was also an arcade game. The Ninja Turtles Cowabunga
Yes.
Cowabunga collection.
yes.
Those were arcade games.
Those are all, and then of course
Anything on NSO was an arcade game.
your little yellow fella, Pac-Man.
Yep. So, the deal with retro games is that games that are 10 years or older and are not being sold in major stores anymore are considered retro. So yes, Nintendo Wii, PlayStation 3, and Xbox 360 games are retro, so you can go grab your cane now if you want. Before you do, let's take time to appreciate these games. I think it's weird because, well, you did say major stores. By saying major stores makes sense because I'm like, you definitely can still buy
Yeah, you can
360
find them.
games,
Yeah.
but they're not being produced anymore.
No.
And by that, Game Boy Advance games, retro.
Yes.
It hurts because I remember buying Game Boy Advance games, but Game Boy Advance games, like, well, Holy crap. By that vein, Nintendo DS games are also retro.
Yes.
And I remember buying Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum.
Yes. The reason why I bring up these three systems is because people refuse to believe
that they're retro. Yeah,
and
the Nintendo Wii was mid-2000s.
That's 2000. No, that's not 2011. What am I talking about? I'm tripping.
It was like 06, 07.
Yes. Yep. Like a year after the DS came out.
Yep. I only remember when it was because I remember my cousin, literally his dad, we went to Florida. My family went to Florida. And his dad went out to the store and bought him and his sister a Wii. And we stayed down there and played it all week. And the first game that we played was Sonic and the Secret Rings.
Oh, that's a good game.
Yep.
Yeah. Like I said, like I wrote here, you can grab your canes now if you want, if you feel old. I don't. Because, like, the cool thing about a lot of these games is that, like, we still play them. We still, like, if you have some of these games from, and I hope you do, because a lot of them are expensive. If you have some of these games, you know, bring them out, play them.
Bring them out.
Like GameCube, that's retro.
Yeah.
That's 2000? Yeah, 2000.
Yep.
23 years ago. Even further, like the Sega Genesis and the Dreamcast.
Game Gear.
Yeah, the Sega Game Gear. These are all retro games, and it's wild to think of like how far we've come from those games, but how some of those games held up. Like, think of Sonic Adventure. You know, it's old, and there's some things that are like, but it still holds up.
Look at GoldenEye. Like,
yeah.
Nintendo had so many fans happy that GoldenEye was released on NSO, Nintendo Switch Online. If you don't know what we mean, but so many people were excited that,
and all they want to do is run around and beat each other up with their hands, not shoot each other. They want to karate chop each other.
Yo, that's because that was the most fun part. You run up behind someone and literally karate chop them in the throat, and they just die.
Chop his throat. Cha!
Oh man, that was like the best part of GoldenEye. Like, I remember, I'll do one better. I remember playing Spawn with my cousin. That was one of his favorite games. And we used to not only play, but we used to do the boss run.
Oh.
And that's all we did. We would go through and fight every single boss from the main game.
That's awesome. I'll throw one in there. Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yeah, it's technically retro.
Kingdom Hearts 2 was
still my original copy.
I do too. And that was a game that I just every year consistently came back to, beat it 100%, beat Sephiroth, got Ultima Weapon. I was always in the zone when it came to Kingdom Hearts 2.
It got so bad for me that I literally started playing Kingdom Hearts 2 every year in December, which I might do this year like I normally do. I might do it for stream.
Don't give it away.
I said I might. I didn't say I was. I said I might. I might still keep this tradition to myself. But I used to start on December 1st, and by December 25th, the goal was to get to the Nightmare Before Christmas world and play through.
That's good. I like that.
Yep. That's what I used to do every year. And I would purposely make that world last me a majority of the month of December.
I mean, it's a good world, so I don't blame you. and a good game.
Yep.
Now, let's get to appreciating some other retro games. Some a little older, some that you might know, like Tetris.
One of my favorite games.
This fun puzzle game was equally, with a equally fun theme, was made in 1985. This game tests your wits by presenting you with colorful blocks that you must rearrange so they fit together and disappear. That's the whole point of the game.
The whole point of the game is to get blocks straight across the screen to get that line to disappear.
Oh, and I love the T-spinners. I know anyone that knows what that means, yes, I know exactly what I'm talking about.
The T-spinners?
So T-spinners are people who take the little like T-block, the purple one, and like spin it into place to fit it into like small places.
I thought that was normal.
Nope.
Oh.
People hate T-spinners
Oh.
in Tetris.
Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of a thing.
Well, no, I do that with all the blocks, and
Well, the funny thing is like the other ones are fine. It's just the you know the one I'm talking about. That one specifically is the like I don't know what it is specifically, but like people just don't like it when you.
Why?
I don't know.
When I found out you could do it with all of them, I was like, oh, well, obviously the game designers wanted you to do it.
I mean, in Tetris 99, you get extra points for T-spin, so.
Yeah. So, and I remember playing Tetris on Game Boy.
So like, that game old, guys, and you know the jingle. Do 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 do.
The crazy thing is, I can still see my brother's copy of Tetris for the Game Boy because it had, what's that really popular building in Russia called in Moscow? Is it the Kremlin?
Maybe.
It's the one with like the big circular. I am not a geography buff. I'm so American.
I But yeah, Tetris is so fun, and like, Tetris 99 is
St. Brazil's Cathedral.
there. You go.
I think that's the one that was there because like literally it looked just like that.
Ah, yes.
And that was the background. It was a building that looked exactly like that. I think Tetris is like a super fun game. It's hilarious. The other day, well, a couple things. Tetris technically falls under the category of being a retro game as well as a modern game as well.
Because you can get Tetris 99 on your Switch.
And before it was made available for the Switch, you could still get it on your phone. It's an app.
Ah, that's
and you could get Tetris Galaxy on your phone. I don't know if Tetris Galaxy is still active, but it was for a long time.
That's another thing I was going to mention is like some of these retro games have moved to your phone.
Yes.
So you might want to be on the lookout for some of them if you're interested.
We mentioned them earlier, but another retro game. Pac-Man. I can't believe I'm about to say this. For all my crap, I can't remember the name of the movie, but I said it earlier. For all my Scott Pilgrim vs. the World fans,
yes,
you will know this. Pac-Man was originally called Puckman in Japan, but they were afraid that people were going to cross out the P and add an F.
Yes.
So they changed it to Pac-Man.
I mean, it didn't stop people switching the F and the P for and the C for an F and a P. So
Anyway. Pac-Man, or as it was known in Japan, Puck-Man, was a simple game about a yellow spear-shaped character who eats yellow pellets and fruits, and occasionally keys.
Yeah.
While avoiding 4 ghosts. I don't remember the ghost name. I know one of them is named Lemmy.
No, I'm gonna get them up right now. I should have put them. I meant to while I was thinking about it, but I didn't. I know one of them is Clyde, though.
Yes, Clyde is like one of the most famous ones.
Blinky.
Yep.
Blinky. Inky. I'm gonna remember.
And Clyde.
I'm gonna remember them before I look them up, but.
Blinky, Pinky, Inky, and Clyde.
Yes.
So, I'll explain the significance of them in a minute. Those are the 4 ghosts. Only by eating the power pellets would Pac-Man be able to turn the tides and eat the ghosts, who would turn blue for a short duration in time. Now, the reason why this is so significant is because there were so many tournaments for people to beat this game.
Yes.
And ironically enough, my mom's not a gamer, but she enjoyed Pac-Man. Pac-Man was like one of the first games that I actually played. And I still remember my mom sitting there trying to explain to me what to do and like yelling at the screen while yelling at me like, oh, get the power pellet, hurry up, eat it, eat the ghost, eat the ghost, eat the ghost. And I'm like playing with the little joystick like, oh, which way do I go, oh, it's not doing it, I'm not going down, oh, I died. And we all know the iconic like,
oh, that's so cute. I love that.
I really like Pac-Man. For all my, like, I guess Gen Alpha people, the yellow guy from Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah. Also, Repack.
Repack?
The remake of Pac-Man World.
Oh, yeah, that just came out.
That just came out not too long ago.
It's funny, I actually had Pac-Man World.
Me too. I had Pac-Man World and Pac-Man World 2.
But I actually didn't have Pac-Man World. I had Pac-Man World 3. I had one of the sequels. I think there was a Pac-Man World.
Was there a World 3? Am I crazy?
Was there a 3? Might not have been. Yeah, it was a 3.
Oh, there was! I forgot about Pac-Man World 3. That was on PlayStation, wasn't it?
PlayStation, GameCube, PSP.
Oh man. Where the heck was I at?
I have no clue.
That's
But
crazy.
the reason why I guess I like Pac-Man as much as I do, like, I'm not a Pac-Man stan for the original. If anything, when it comes to the originals, I like playing Miss Pac-Man more than Pac-Man.
Same.
But I've had several Pac-Man games in my life. I've had the original Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man,
Yep.
Namco Collection that had the several different variations of Pac-Man, Pac-Man World 3, and the main reason I like Pac-Man, I used to watch the cartoon.
Same. Yeah.
The cartoon was actually really good, but not just the original. I watched the original, really liked it. But I used to watch the remake as well.
Yeah.
With 3D models.
I love Pac-Man as well, and like my aunt, when I used to like go over her house, she was like, "Oh yeah, you like video games?" Like, yeah, and she would give me Pac-Man, and I would play the Pac-Man, and she'd sit there and watch it, and she would just be so impressed. She's like, "Yeah, I can't, like, I love the Pac-Man, but I can't beat it. You gotta beat the Pac-Man for me, nephew."
The funny thing is, there was no beating Pac-Man.
No, that wasn't.
Like, the levels, at least from what I know, again, I might just be an ignorant millennial, but for people that know, was there a final episode or final level in Pac-Man where, like, literally it was just the end of the game, or did it just keep resetting and building new stages?
I cannot answer that question.
Neither can I. But the next game I am very passionate about, because I was introduced to this game via an emulator and a disc with burned games on it.
This next game is one of my favorites, and I am still clinging to Capcom to bring this back in full. It's Mega Man. This blue bomber would surface to grace our gaming screens in 1987. Rockman, as he's known in Japan, is a scrolling platformer. And when people say Mega Man hard, classic Mega Man is that. Classic Mega Man created Mega Man hard. Because some of the stages will be ridiculous, from disappearing blocks to specific jumps. You name it, Mega Man probably had it.
Yep.
Mega was created by the brilliant scientist Dr. Light with his assistant Dr. Wily. But Dr. Wily became jealous of his friend Dr. Light and reprogrammed all of his robots, excluding Mega Man and his sister Roll. Wily would use the newly named Robot Masters to take over the world to show his brilliance. You play as Mega and defeat the Robot Masters to reach Wily, who uses his own creations to stop Mega Man.
It's cool because at this point in time, we're getting a resurgence of Mega Man. So you have literally the complete game, like from the first game, like the complete collection from the first game all the way to the last games. Like from game 1 to Mega Man 11.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so for your classic Mega Man, you have 1 through 11.
1 through. I don't really know if I'd consider 11 classic. I guess it was classic with modern styling.
Yeah, like that's. Yeah. And then you have Mega Man X, which is also a classic game. Going from Mega Man X1 to X8.
And then you have Mega Man 0.
Oh wait, before 0, Legends.
Right. Those are the ones for the PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2.
Yes, and also the Nintendo 64.
And the N64.
The Legends series, which, you know, I'm a big fan of myself. Then we have which ones came out first? I think Battle Network? Or was it? Yeah,
0.
Was it 0?
0 came out on the Game Boy Advance.
So did Battle Network. Check that out. They might have come out around the same time, which is why I'm not thinking about it.
Battle Network came out, or Mega Man Battle Chip came out August 8th, 2003. And Mega Man 0 was April 26, 2002.
Okay, so yeah, 0.
I was about to say I only know because I had 0 first, and then I saw Battle Network come out like the year. Well, Battle Network S games, because the Battle Network cartoon came out, I think, somewhere in
3 or 4.
Yeah.
But yeah, so 0. So you have the Mega Man 0, line of games, then the Battle Network series games, then ZX, and then Star Force. And Star Force is really like the last new Mega Man game. Well, new Mega Man game as in like new offshoot series. The newest Mega Man game is Mega Man 11. But yes, Capcom, please bring back the Blue Bomber.
Capcom, please bring back Beautiful Joe.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I gotta beg for that as
Also,
well.
Okami. Please bring back Okami. Okami is so pretty, and it would look so good with modern technology.
Funny question. How many people know that the Switch is actually touchscreen?
That is a good question.
Like, leave it in the comments if you knew that the Switch was touchscreen. Because I feel like we all know that the Switch is touchscreen.
We just forget.
But yeah, we forget because no one really plays it. Well, you don't really play it using the touchscreen capabilities when you're playing handheld.
Yeah, one of the episodes of Pokemon, I talked about how you can, clean off the gym badges in Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. And
Yes.
You can do that with the newer versions. And not many people would, know that because, just like you said, like how many people actually know about the touchscreen?
Yep.
Anything else that you want to say about Mega Man or before we move on?
Nah, I'm gonna leave it a secret.
Okay.
Just know that I have the Battle Network series.
Alright. Now let's talk about some modern games.
There are newer games that have come out within the last couple of years and make new innovations of what older or retro games have done. One such game is Horizon Zero Dawn. By 2017, a new hero would emerge named Ilo, a young hunter living in a world overrun by machines. Ilo, equipped with a bow, spear, and stealth faces against mechanical creatures and other enemy forces. Ilo's aim is to recover her past, so she sets out on an open world adventure. This game is significant because it was a PlayStation exclusive.
Yes.
And I will say, prior to this game, a game that I believe heavily influenced this game was another PlayStation exclusive for the PS3.
Which one's that?
Heavenly Sword.
Ah, yes. Yes. Yes, I can see that.
A lot of the mechanics were the same, and a lot of the gameplay was similar, albeit on a smaller scale.
And also, we have a female protagonist.
And also, we have a female protagonist.
I liked looking up this game because this is one of those games that kind of got... Not kind of. It did. This got eaten alive when it came out because, well, what came out at the same time was Breath of the Wild. And
it was completely overshadowed, even though they marketed it really well.
Yes.
But the thing is, when they released the sequel,
then the sequel also got
overshadowed
by, was it God of War?
Yep.
Yeah. Ragnarok came out and Ragnarok was like,
hey, there's an open world God of War game. Horizon what? Wait, isn't that the same game? And like a lot of people thought that, it was the same game.
because they like was it new something Horizons or something like that? I forget the name of it.
Yeah,
But
Horizon 2 will suffice to call it.
Horizons 2, the big issue was, and it's not their fault, bless their hearts, really, because they're doing what they're supposed to do. They're marketing their game, they're really, and they're excited about it, but they sent this game out to be destroyed by Zelda as a gaming titan and God of War as a gaming titan. That's not a good combination of games that you want to go against.
I think another thing was this game was like, hey, look, we're doing something brand new. We're actually doing open world. And it's like,
oh yeah,
when they released, several other kids in the class were like, hey, we're doing open world.
Yeah, not a good. That's also a good point because, Zelda became open world.
Yep.
Which immediately was like, ah, dang, man.
God of War
Also became open world, and it was like, twice the game that we come against is open world. That's not good.
I have a feeling it's going to be one of those cult classics or one of those hidden gem games. Like, the even crazier part is that, like, Horizon 2 was literally overshadowed by Ghost of Tsushima.
Oh, that's also true.
Another open world game.
And, like, this is not anything against Horizon Zero Dawn or its sequel. I heard very good things about both of these games. But I think you see where the issue comes in.
Yep.
They could be amazing games, but if they're released when other games that people are more interested in,
more established titles.
More established titles come out, they're not going to survive.
Yeah. Like, Ghost of Tsushima was not an established title, but because
it had time for it to come out, and it wasn't coming out around the same time as other.
Well, no. Well, yes, there's that. But what I was thinking of was more so, it was a Titan game in and of itself, because you played as a samurai in feudal Japan that had to save the country.
And that's where it saved itself, because it had a theme that people already knew about.
Yeah.
And were interested in, whereas Horizon Zero Dawn is kind of a new, like a new but old type of idea, where it's kind of a hunter in a world of machines. That's not anything new, but it's new when it comes to the video game industry.
To me, it was literally like, oh hey, this looks like a Tomb Raider knockoff.
You know what? That's fair.
That was literally what I thought of.
That's
because
fair.
At the time, I was gaming on Xbox 360, and I was playing through the new Tomb Raiders.
That's fair. Yeah, I can.
And I also was playing through the Uncharted series as well.
Yeah.
So, to me, this game just kind of, if you played those games, in my opinion, this game just seemed like not a ripoff, but a copy and paste of these other games. And I had also played Far Cry, so again, it
had a lot of similar mechanics to a lot of the games that you were playing at the time,
and a lot of similar story elements.
Yeah, and I can see why that wouldn't be appealing to someone, especially when you have, again, Zelda and God of War.
Yep.
and then Ghost of Tsushima as well.
It's still on my to playlist. Fun fact,
same.
I never finished Ghost of Tsushima, but I have a good thought in mind for that one, because Ghost of Tsushima 2 is coming out, I do believe, next year.
Mm-hmm.
And Jamie has also never played the game.
Yes.
So, I have thoughts.
There are thoughts. And that won't be the last of that type of game as well. So.
Man, I like how you chose games that, well, for the most part, you chose games that neither one of us has played. So, like, for retro games, of course, we played a lot of those. Like I said, I was introduced to Mega Man via an emulator. But I was introduced to a lot of retro games via an emulator.
Yeah.
But Horizon Zero Dawn, never played. And the next game, I've never played. Like, literally. This is the game that Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance was based off of.
Yeah.
And that's Neo, The World Ends With You.
Also known as Neo, It's a Wonderful World in Japan. It's a sequel game in the series. This story is based on two friends, Rindo Kanande and Fret, who partake in a very deadly Reaper's game. Trapped in opposite dimensions, these two must complete daily missions and compete against the other players. This is a very Square game.
Yep.
And anyone who knows Square Enix knows exactly what I mean when I say that.
Yep.
It's very anime.
It's very Final Fantasy.
No. No.
Yeah.
No.
Yes. Story-wise, yes.
Oh, that's what you mean.
It's very Final Fantasy.
Okay, yes, absolutely. It's very...
And the reason that I say is because literally Square's one of Square's other most popular titles, Kingdom Hearts, is
It's very Final Fantasy.
literally, yes, not only a Final Fantasy clone, yes, I will say it, but it is also trying to literally meld the world of all of Square's other titles under one umbrella.
And like what I like about Neo the World Ends With You is like the Reaper's game is such a very unique, mechanic as far as like these types of games go.
I've never seen any gameplay footage for this.
Basically there's like a time limit and you have to complete like different tasks each day, and if you don't, that game over, that's it. And like with these two characters in each game, you get two characters and they're trapped in between two dimensions. So you remember Dream Drop Distance?
Yep.
When Sora and Riku were trapped in different sides of Twilight Town? That's exactly where that came from.
Yep.
That whole splitting of the worlds came from the idea of the Neo the World Ends With You.
Yep.
And there's so much like character because some of these characters like are friends or loved ones, or they have feelings for each other. It's so cool, and I don't know, so I'm not gonna say this indefinitely, but I believe there's a character that controls the game.
The Master of Masters.
Basically.
No, I was literally saying the Master of Masters.
Oh, I mean,
The Master of Masters controls
wouldn't
all
that be a wild-
Square's titles.
wouldn't that be a wild thing?
I mean, when you think about it, literally,
Because people are like, oh, the Master of Masters is Nomura, and like,
yes,
no.
yes. The Master of Masters is literally the creator of the world, which is the author or the producer. As crazy as it sounds, like, literally Nomura wrote himself into the game franchise.
Yeah.
Most authors do.
But I don't mind that.
Neither do I.
One, because, we love Nomura. Nomura's crazy, but we love him. But two, like, there's something very interesting about the Master of Masters that makes me go, yeah. But we'll get to that when we talk about Kingdom Hearts.
Yes. But for those of you who don't know, if you played Kingdom Hearts 3 and you played the Remind DLC, when you
Also, if you play the mobile game.
Yes. No.
Yes.
No.
He's mentioned in that.
I'm not talking about the Master of Masters.
Oh. Only the one.
I'm talking about the world of reality and the world of unreality.
Oh. I think that's mentioned in that too.
Nope.
Yes, but it's referenced as a metaphor.
Yes. But no. When I'm speaking of it more of like specifically the fight between Sora and Yozora.
Oh yes,
Where Sora wakes up in a different reality.
That secret boss is
Yes.
so good.
Basically, all I'm trying to get from that is Neo the World Ends With You. Two people on two different sides of reality.
Yep.
The last modern game we have for you. Ironically enough, if you caught the beginning of this stream, or if you tuned into the stream at Jamie Shadow 9
/
Twitch.tv.
It's supposed to be the other
Yeah,
one,
I'm sorry.
Whatever.
Twitch.tv / Jamie Shadow 9.
It's fine.
Shameless plug. But we played it today. It's super popular right now because it just dropped today, October 20th,
Well, the
2023.
sequel dropped today.
Yeah. But Marvel Spider-Man. It's Insomniac Games' first Spider-Man title, like their first attempt at a Spider-Man title. And it would bring back the wisecracking web swinger with new gameplay and a new look. Spider-Man would swing through the streets of New York, taking on enemies you haven't seen much in previous games. You know what? I'm not going to say that. A lot of the enemies that we've seen in these games are actually really popular enemies. In the first game, they specifically chose those enemies because they were the most popular.
Right, but I said that because I was like, I thought of Mr. Negative.
Mm-hmm.
Because like he hasn't been in a lot of games, but we have seen him before.
He's more of a newer character.
Right.
But Scorpion,
Yeah, the Scorpion,
Rhino, Vulture,
we've seen all of them.
Dr. Ock, or Otto Octavius, Doc Ock. They've been in multiple other titles. But yes. He has new abilities and specials. Peter Parker, who is usually saving someone before he's able to, pay his rent, or go grocery shopping, or live life in general, is a selfless hero. So, one thing that's special about this modern game is that Insomniac Games, they were really, really nervous about making this game.
Yeah.
They were so afraid because they did not want to mess this game up. And they put in a lot of time and effort. Almost like the creator of Gran Turismo. This team put in so much time and effort, and they still were afraid that the final product wouldn't be up to fan standards because they didn't want to let fans down.
Think about when Sony took Spider-Man for the first time, and think about the quality of Spider-Man at the time. The Amazing Spider-Man and The Amazing Spider-Man 2 are pretty okay movies, all things considered.
Visually, yeah.
But when you think about the plot and, Peter himself, they don't really mix. Like, and I don't want to go into it because there's another time for that, but
You see I'm sitting here quiet.
Insomniac had a lot of pressure because, they were aware of what happened before. You know, there was so much fan outrage about The Amazing Spider-Man and Amazing Spider-Man 2.
The games were great.
Yeah.
The movies, it wasn't only the, like, yes, it was the fans and fan outrage, but they were also, they'd also never worked on a project like this before.
Yeah.
Like, a major title game that has long since been established. Plus, they were working on their first, I don't know if it was their first, but an exclusive
And
for
like,
a major video game company.
and some of these people have worked with like in the company Naughty Dog
Yeah.
that worked on things like Crash Bandicoot. So like this wasn't their first rodeo
No.
on working on something, you know, big and iconic. But this was definitely a different horse to working on Crash.
Yes. Spider-Man is a super dynamic game. And out of every Spider-Man game that I have played all the major ones for all the major consoles from, I'll say, from PS2 until now. The only game that I have never played is Web of Shadows. But out of every game that came out from Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 1 until Spider-Man 2 for the PS5, Spider-Man 2, or I'm sorry, the Insomniac run of Spider-Man has been my favorite Spider-Man. And that's a tough sell simply because Ultimate Spider-Man, prior to me playing the Insomniac game, was my favorite Spider-Man game.
Same. Yeah.
Ultimate Spider-Man for the PS2
Ugh.
was my favorite Spider-Man game out of all of them, and that's even accounting for the Amazing Spider-Man.
And like I'll even put Shattered Dimensions in there too, because Shattered Dimensions was a great game. You know, you got.
I love Shattered Dimensions.
I love Shattered Dimensions, and I'm sad that never came back. You know what I mean? That was one of those games where I was like, man, we could do this one again, like a Shattered Dimensions 2. Let's go. And you know, with the way that the direction of Spider-Man is going, I mean, never say never. Now we could have a Shattered Dimensions 2 or something akin to it. I mean, Into the Spider-Verse exists now, so
Yep. I loved, literally, when I played Shattered Dimensions for the first time, it, to me, edged out Spider-Man, or the Ultimate Spider-Man for my favorite game. But then when I sat down and actually played Ultimate Spider-Man again, I was like, nah, this game got it.
yeah.
Like-
So like Ultimate Spider-Man, for me now it goes, the Miles, Spider-Man, Ultimate, and then Shattered Dimensions. That's my list.
For me, I don't want to put Miles Morales on top per se, just because I haven't finished playing through Spider-Man 2, but rightfully so, because the game literally just came out today.
Yeah, I can't say my Spider-Man 2 because like I've been watching it, but I haven't played it yet, so I can't make a decision on Spider-Man 2 yet.
I will say the Insomniac run of Spider-Man is my favorite. My second favorite is Ultimate Spider-Man. My third favorite is Spider-Man Edge of Time. And my rounding out top 5 is Shattered Dimension.
Yeah. So good.
In correction, another Spider-Man game I never played was Spider-Man Friend or Foe.
Yeah. But
Now it's time for the hard-hitting questions. It's one of your favorite retro games.
Oof.
Legend of Zelda. Open and shut.
Listen.
Tell me I'm lying.
No. That's actually correct.
Yep.
Because my first game that I ever got was The Legend of Zelda Oracle of Seasons for the Game Boy Color. That was the first game that my mom bought me.
Bet you can't guess what mine is.
What? Oh, your favorite retro game?
Yep.
This one's hard, yeah.
I've played a lot of retro games. I've had a lot of classic game collections in my life.
Can I get a system?
No, because if I give you the system, it'll give it away.
Okay. Year?
80s. I'll give you a decade.
80s.
And I'll say, like, I technically have two answers. Because you put games as in multiple instead of just game.
Oh, well, yeah. I was gonna say, like, because, like, I also have another one as well. But, 80s. Sonic?
Yes.
Okay.
But which one?
Sonic 2.
Yes. Well, no, not Sonic 2.
So, SA2?
Yes.
Oh, wait, that's not the 80s. You threw me off.
SA1. Well, SA1 was like...
That's like
90s.
1990.
Yeah.
I was confused. Cause
I thought it came out in the 80s because it was on Dreamcast.
Yeah, SA2 is like at least 2000 or something like that. That's why I was confused. Like, wait, I'm like, all right, well, Sonic.
Well, actually, the game in the 80s I was talking about, that's not... You didn't call that out.
Okay.
That wasn't the game I was thinking
But
of.
Sonic is Sonic 1, Sonic 2, SA2.
Yes, SA2 is the other game that I was thinking about, but not the initial game I was thinking about.
Okay. 80s. No, not Star Fox.
Not a Star Fox fan. And
Uh,
SA2 released in 2001. I didn't know that.
Metroid.
No.
Ah.
Surprisingly enough, no. I didn't really start getting into Metroid until like the
Prime.
Game Boy Advance games.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Which technically came before Prime.
Yeah. 80s. Fuck.
I don't know, Sonic Adventure came out in 98. Or 98 in Japan, 99 in the US.
Yep.
Should go over that in the Sonic episode. Hint, wink, wink.
Mario?
Nope. Okay. Hold up.
What?
Fact checking myself. Okay, not 80s, 90s.
Oh, okay. 90s, okay, 90s, came out in the 90s. Pokemon.
Yes. But which one?
This one's easy. Pokemon Ruby.
Nope.
Oh, Wait, what?
Ruby didn't come out in the 90s.
Oh, specifically in the 90s. Pokemon Red?
Nope.
Blue?
Nope.
Yellow?
Nope.
Gold?
Yep.
Ah.
Because Gold was the very first Pokemon game that I've ever played.
Mine was Crystal.
Yep.
Gen 2 boy!
Yep. And that's because my older brother got tired of his Game Boy Color and literally gave it to me, and Pokemon Gold was one of the games that he had, so I played the crap out of Pokemon Gold.
Bruh, I love it.
Yep.
See, this is why we're best friends. I'm a Gen 2 boy, and one of my favorite Sonic games is SA2.
Well, ironically enough, one of my favorite Pokemon games one of my favorite Pokemon remakes is Heart Gold and Soul Silver.
Yeah, we were destined to be best friends.
Yep.
We were destined to be best friends.
I am pissed off that it's not on NSO or ported,
To the Switch.
and that they redid Let's Go,
Ah,
and I'm like,
and there's talks of Let's Go Johto.
which I'm like, no, just give me a port of Heart Gold and Soul Silver.
A remake on the Switch would be...
Give me a remake of a remake.
Give me a remake of a remake, and I'm...
Yep. And re-release the Pokewalker. And let it be compatible with freaking Pokemon Go.
Oh, especially with the Pokelathon stuff.
Or here's free game Niantic and Nintendo. Turn the Go Plus Plus into a Pokewalker. Just make an update that says it can store your Pokemon.
Yeah, and you can train for the Pokelathon, and that would be so interactive and...
Yep.
Bruh.
Now, for you, well, you already said it because I was going to say Pokemon for you, and not. I was going to laugh when I said Pokemon for your second favorite retro game.
Yeah, it's Pokemon. Yeah.
Zelda and Pokemon.
Zelda and Pokemon.
Sonic and Pokemon.
Sonic and Pokemon.
Just because when I was younger, Sonic was a game that I played all the time. Pokemon was also another game that I played all the time. And ironically enough, this is why. Sonic the Hedgehog was the one game that you could play. Sonic the Hedgehog and Pokemon, the reason why I'm super into these franchises is because they were the two games that you could play on Nintendo consoles without using the bumpers.
Yep.
Because the bumpers on those consoles always went out.
I love Sonic as well. Like I'm a Sonic 2 boy, and then like I said, Sonic 2 was my first Sonic game that I played, but my favorite is SA2. And it's where I get my namesake from, so I mean Jamie Shadow. Shadow's my favorite Sonic character. And I'll save more of who my other favorite Sonic characters are for the Sonic episode.
You won't know mine until the Sonic episode.
Alright, time for favorite modern games.
I just got hit with a memory.
What's that?
I don't 100% remember, but GameCube.
Okay.
I'm having a memory from my GameCube days pop in my head. One of them was being able to play Pokemon on the GameCube, like Ruby, Gold, and or not Ruby, Gold.
Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald.
Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald.
Being able to be played on Pokemon Coliseum in Gale of Darkness.
No, being able to play on the big screen with the...
Oh, with the Game Boy player.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good
Oh, now I want a GameCube.
Yes, that's why
Now
I'm trying
I
to
want a
get
GameCube
one.
with the freaking
Game
thing.
Boy player, yeah.
Because I still have my copy of Pokemon Ruby, and it would... Imagine playing Pokemon Ruby on this. Bruh.
Listen, I know. I already thought about it. Trust me. That's one of those things. Why do you think I want a custom GameCube? So I can do that and also play Four Swords Adventure.
Hey yo, if I get a custom GameCube and I get Four Swords Adventure, we're playing it because I have it.
Oh,
I have it down there as well. Like I have the Game Boy Advance version.
Hold on, we have to get Game Boy colors, and we also have to get the.
I have the cord. I have the cable, and I have
you-
a Game Boy Advance SP and a Game Boy Advance.
If we can get another cable,
We might have to get 2 cables just because the odds of me knowing where my one cable is are slim.
yeah. So we have to get 2 cables. I have to get myself another Game Boy, and we are good. We are a gooch. We're gonna be playing Four Swords Adventure. What? Nintendo, please. You're not listening to this. I know you're not.
Just please make Four Swords Adventure
On the Switch.
and make it online and couch co-op.
Online. Listen, I'm giving you free ideas.
Free game.
I'm not even asking for money for this. I just want this game because I know it'll be fantastic.
We will pay you to make this game.
Listen,
We will buy the game.
I know we're going off into a tangent, but I need this floor real quick. Four Swords Adventure online and couch co-op. Also, being able to have DLC that features stages that are based on the other Zelda games. So, Wind Waker, Ocarina of Time, so on and so. Breath of the Wild. Could you imagine a Breath of the Wild stage for Four Swords Adventure? And that'd be amazing. But then also Nintendo, trust me, you like this idea. It has lots of money in it. Character packs for like $1.99 or something like that.
Yeah, it'd probably be like $10. Yeah, you can do microtransactions, do season passes.
You can do individual packs, season packs, boost.
You can be Toon Link,
Dark Link,
Breath
Tingle,
of the Wild Link,
Breath of the Wild Link, Tingles, Tetra, Zelda,
Sheik.
How many people would play Four Swords Adventure just to play a Sheik?
I 100% would.
Purah, especially Tears of the Kingdom Purah, because
We're not going there. We're not simping right now.
But I'm just saying, Nintendo, please. This could be even more popular than Hyrule Warriors.
Yes. Especially if executed correctly.
Nintendo, I know y'all can do it.
And I know you're listening.
Like,
I'm gonna keep saying it. Nintendo.
please, just please, if you're working on it or you're working on something else, just maybe put it to the side and like think about it.
And Sega, you're not off the hook either. Where's Sonic Heroes 2?
Wait,
And where's SA3?
wait, before we get SA2 and SA3 and Sonic Heroes 2, where's our SA1 and SA2 remakes? Where's our Sonic Heroes remake? Where's our Sonic Unleashed remake?
Well, Sonic Unleashed, we don't really need a remake for it. I only say it just because literally it was the blueprint for all modern Sonic games.
But I want a remake, though.
I know, like, screw this 4-player co-op BS that, you know, in my opinion, looks kind of mid.
Like, listen, I'm not gonna hate on Sonic Superstars because I think it looks cute and I think it's a neat idea. And
I'm 100% going to hate on it.
It's
Sega can do better and has done better in the past.
I will say that this is a better attempt at Sonic than Frontiers. I'll put my hands up. That's what I'm gonna say.
Good point.
Because to me, there was more character thrown into this game, and with the addition of making Amy Rose a playable character, I think that was a good, throw out.
I'm gonna tell you why.
I mean,
Sonic Advance
listen.
2 and 3.
Yes.
Amy was a playable character.
I wasn't gonna go there because
We're getting into the Sonic episode. Anyway.
I'll say this last thing and then we'll move on. Amy has been playable in various games, and of course, one of them we already mentioned, Sonic Heroes. So, Come on, Sega, you can do it. But yes,
Favorite modern game.
favorite modern games. If I were to say like what my favorite modern game is, like basically like a game that's come out within the last 10 years or so.
Tears of the Kingdom.
No. No.
No.
No.
No.
No. Xenoblade Chronicles.
Xenoblade Chronicles? Interesting.
I very much enjoy the Xenoblade series. And like, you know, the Xeno series is old, like, you know. Xenogears came out in like 90s-ish or something. I'll look that up. But you know, for me, I wasn't familiar with the Xeno series until Xenoblade Chronicles. And I've always seen
February 11th,
1998. There we go. Yeah. So I knew of Xenogears because I've seen it everywhere, but I never played it. I never knew what it was. And to hear to see the history of it, and to learn a lot about that from people I've watched and looking it up myself, I'm like, man, they kept a lot of stuff going, even though the games were just like a lot of the games were completely different. And like what specifically is like the most recent game in the Xenoblade Chronicles series is Xenoblade Chronicles 3, which, you know, takes elements from Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and 2, but doesn't require you, the player, to have played any of the games, which is fantastic.
Oh, cool.
So if you have played the games, it rewards you, but if you haven't, it's like, hey, we're just gonna throw some things at you. You may not understand what we're talking about, and if you catch on and go, I wonder what's that about, you can go play the previous games and go,
Okay.
Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is one of those games where I say it rewards you for being a fan. Alright, what about you?
This is so hard. Because it's hard for me, like, I have to think back to all the games. I'm like, oh my god, that was such a good game. Oh, I want to play it again. I wish I could go back in time and replay it. Basically how I was at the end of Bayonetta. Like, thinking about all the games that I played like that.
Oh yeah, and Bayonetta, another shout for a good retro game.
When we say modern, are we talking about, I guess modern technically would be considered
Like within the last 10 years.
PS5 and
Switch
and Switch. So, okay, I guess that narrows it down a bit. Because I was thinking, like, I started thinking about Xbox 360, and I'm like, well, technically those aren't sold anymore. PS5, Xbox Series X, Nintendo Switch. Diamond and Pearl remake.
Oh. Okay.
Metroid Prime. Not Metroid Prime. Metroid Dread.
Okay.
And Need for Speed Heat. And
I'll put that in there with one of mine as well, yes.
Crap, I had another game and I'm blanking on it right now. It's for PlayStation. Because I was going to say Kingdom Hearts. But technically Kingdom Hearts 2, the one that I would say...
Oh, yeah. That was
is
years
not
ago.
considered modern anymore. It's technically retro.
Yep. And... yeah.
I mean, technically I could say Kingdom Hearts 3 because...
Oh, no, you can't say Dream Drop Distance. Dang.
Nope.
I was gonna say, yeah, you can say Dream
Well,
Drop
technically
Distance.
you can say Dream Drop Distance, but they don't make DS games anymore. or 3DS games anymore.
Well, technically you say Dream Drop Distance because of 2.8.
Yeah. Well, technically you could say all of them because
Yeah, that's true, that's
1.5 and 2.5.
I can't say 3 for me.
For me, it would be Kingdom Hearts 2 or 2.5. It'd have to be 2.5.
Yeah.
Just because, it's come out in the last. It's re-released in the last decade, and you could still buy it.
It's technically cheating because
it's a loophole.
Yeah, but I would agree with that because 2.5 has 2.
You know what?
And Birth by Sleep.
I won't do that.
Okay.
I won't do that. Borderlands 3.
Oh yeah, we had a lot of fun playing that.
Yes. Borderlands 3, Diamond and Pearl remake, and Metroid Dread.
Xenoblade Chronicles 3, Need for Speed Heat.
Oh, and Need for Speed. I forgot about Need for Speed.
Oh, that's hard. If I had to choose between the two.
What?
Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet.
Scarlet and Violet.
Yeah.
Sword and Shield did change the format, but Scarlet and Violet, in my opinion, was a better game.
Cause I think about when we played both, and I'm I had fun. I guess we did play. We have played Scarlet and Violet way more though.
The only reason I said Diamond and Pearl remake was technically they were new games. They were ports. No, they weren't ports. They were remakes.
Yeah.
Of games that came out before. But to this day, I still think that game holds up better than Sword and Shield, and admittedly enough, even Scarlet and Violet.
True. I won't say that because.
But I think that's more of a nostalgia thing than anything.
Yeah. I won't say for me, even though I'm doing a series on them, and I love the series, I will not say that's my favorite because what you guys will find out is that, and I said it, I think I mentioned it, that's not the Generation 4 that most of us remember. The Generation 4 we remember is Platinum.
The Generation 4 you remember is Platinum.
No, I remember, when I say that is, I remember Diamond and Pearl Generation 4 because I played those religiously. But everything about the Battle Frontier and the special events and what the post game, that's all in Platinum. It's not in Diamond and Pearl.
I didn't play Platinum a lot.
Yeah.
I played it maybe twice.
Yeah, Platinum has it's either tied for the biggest post game, so it's that in Black and White 2. So
to me, Nintendo and Game Freak and Pokemon Company, where's my Gen 3 remake or port to the Switch?
Oh, or us on Switch. Yeah, I think that would be nice. Especially,
I need Omega Ruby or Ruby, Alpha Sapphire or Sapphire,
or give us
or Emerald.
Give us what was the post game called? Something Emerald, something Shining Emerald, something like that. Just give us that, and also
I want the full game.
No, I mean give us that as the game.
Oh yeah, if they remade Emerald, if they did an Emerald remake.
Listen.
And you know what? I'd even be okay with it being modern styling, like Scarlet and Violet, which I know they wouldn't do because they only save that stuff for new Pokemon and all that other stuff. But if they took Diamond and Pearl and literally just built the Hoenn region,
I think
be okay.
I think they might either do something like that, or they might do something closer like Sword and Shield. Because the animation style and the characters were they were pre Sword and Shield, so it wouldn't be as hard on them.
Well, if they did anything close to Sword and Shield, it'd basically be Scarlet and Violet, because Scarlet and Violet literally built on Sword and Shield.
True.
Sword and Shield changed the graphics from 2D to 3D models, like more full scale.
Yeah.
Like a more full scale open world, whereas if they were going to go ahead and do that, then they literally just use the Sword and Shield data.
But also while you're at it, platinum. Just do it. Just please. I want platinum, please. Anyway.
I'm sorry, they're not going to do platinum.
I know.
They're not going to do it yet, only because they just released Diamond and Pearl within like the last 5 years.
Or if we do like a remake, do a crossover like I've been mentioning on stream. Where
Oh my god, a world tour.
Generation 3 into Generation 4 or 4 into 3. Do that. And Gen 10 is the world tour, so just
has to be.
Sorry, Game Freak. You're
kind of tied into it.
You're kind of tied into
You're
it.
kind of long overdue for letting us go to every single or a majority of the regions to be the champion in multiple regions.
And then, you know how disappointing it would be, especially considering that y'all have been constantly building the universe to connect to each other.
Yep. But you never connect them in the games.
Like, y'all can't keep doing this and getting away with it.
Nah. Alright. We've been getting sidetracked long enough. Does retro necessarily mean old or outdated?
No.
No.
Which is why I brought up the information about the Wii, the PS3, and the Xbox.
Yep. Like for us, our PS3, Wii, and Xbox 360 is literally the PS2, the original Xbox, and the GameCube. Like, that's literally yours and my generation, because to us, that's the stuff that was out when we were young.
Yeah.
But the Wii, the Wii U, the 360, and the PS3 were all out when we were like adolescent, going on teenagers.
Yeah, the Wii was like, came out when I was like 16-ish, somewhere in there. So.
Yeah. Somewhere around there. Well, no. You said the Wii U?
No, the Wii. The Wii U was like, I might have been, how old was I when the Wii U came out? What year did the Wii U
No, the
come
Wii
out?
release date was November 19, 2006.
Oh, then I was like, I was 10 and 05, so 11.
Yep.
Yeah, so I was 11 when the Wii came out, and I was, what?
And the Wii U came out 2012. So you were 16
Yeah,
or 17,
yeah, 16, 17, somewhere in there.
because that was 2 years before I graduated high school. So I was 16, you were 17.
Yeah. So that's why I'm like, because I've been in streams and that's come up before where someone in chat had brought up that like, hey, you know, the Wii is considered retro, and people are like, oh no. And it's like, what do you mean?
I swear, the way the Switch came about was someone was basically like, oh man, what if we took the Wii U and just made the handheld portion the game console?
Yeah, I mean, that's where that's the Wii U is the Switch prototype.
I have a sneaky suspicion that Nintendo is going to do something where they bring back the hard console, but it's going to be like an add-on for the Switch, where it's going to be like a dedicated home console, and you'll be able to buy or AirPlay either 2 physical copies, or if you buy a digital copy, you'll be able to play it between both consoles, like both the console and the Switch itself.
I wouldn't be surprised, and it would be very Nintendo to do something.
It, like, basically I see them doing something akin to what Sony's trying to do now with the PlayStation, you know, portable PS5. handheld accessory. Which
when I saw that, I was like, just bring back the PSP. Y'all know that's what y'all want to do anyway. Just do that.
For some reason, I don't know why gaming companies are refusing to bring back handheld consoles. Like Nintendo's special because they always have a handheld console. It just so happens that they made a hybrid console this time.
Yeah.
Which they could literally, in my opinion, keep the Switch and never change it again.
I think if they do like a Switch 2, which is what everybody's calling it, I think they should still have it where, you know, the cartridges are the same, everything is the same. So if you don't want to get a Switch 2, you don't need to.
Yeah, like it's just a stronger processor so games, you know, play better. It's like the difference between the PS4 and the PS5.
Yep.
You can play the same game on both consoles, but it looks better on the PS5. But then that means that game devs have to optimize it for both consoles, which, you know...
I mean, I've heard that, like, a lot of, you know, game developers don't really mind that, because they kind of, like, a lot of them have to do that for, like, PS4 and PS5 still, and Xbox and all that.
Yeah.
Plus, like, with, you know, Xbox, we have, like, the Series S and X, which, you know, S is the digital, and X is more... I mean, you know, X is digital and physical, but, you know...
X is, like, the pro version, and S is, like, the PS4 to the...
Yeah.
But... Yeah, no. I to answer the question, no, I don't think retro means old or outdated. Like, literally, BioShock is retro. Need for Speed 2015 will be retro in 2 years. Because it's from the PS4 game. Oh, no, technically it won't because they still sell PS4 games. But the modern Need for Speed games don't come out on the PS4. They're all just for PS5.
Yeah.
NBA 2K will never be retro because they always keep releasing it for the previous gen system.
Not to mention, like, the 2K game started in, like, what? 13?
96.
No, I mean... because, like, before we had NBA Streets and, what was the other one? EA NBA something?
NBA Live.
There we go. That's what it was called.
But NBA 2K, well, technically NBA 2K changed its name to NBA 2K in 2000, but it's been around since the 90s.
Yeah. Are modern games the peak of gaming?
Again, I'll say no. Only because there are certain things that older games have done that are better. Like, or revolutionary, if you will. And I feel like the revolutionary mechanics of games as games progress will always make the peak keep moving out further and further, because where we're sitting down talking about playing, you know, the Nintendo Switch, there are people that are heavily in, like, younger kids are starting to get into an area that we aren't in, which is VR gaming.
Yeah. We
know it's terrible for your eyes, but, you know, little kids don't really care. But they want to play, instead of playing, you know, Call of Duty on the TV, they're playing Call of Duty on a VR headset. And, you know, with companies like Apple releasing their new VR headset.
Which is a very cool idea, by the way.
Yeah, Apple's definitely looks the best, but it is the most expensive.
If you were to get one, you're either a very devoted Apple person or doing it for business. At least for the time being.
I would say no to business. I'd say maybe to business.
It could because be, it could have practical.
There are other VR headsets that perform better than the Apple one, but the Apple one physically just looks better.
Yeah. But I'm saying, like, it can be I would see it more for like business now
Yeah.
versus, you know.
Yeah. Especially if you're like a drone pilot or something. But yeah, no, like the only reason I was saying like the VR headset is because it makes me think of Batman Beyond. They literally had gaming pods in that game.
Right.
Or like Ready Player One.
Yeah.
That's like the main thing I think of. Like Ready Player One, where they used VR headsets and, you know, essentially the Nintendo gloves and touch bodysuits to play MMOs.
Or,
where life was an MMO, basically.
I was gonna say, or like some of your favorite animes, like Sword Art Online.
I refuse to ever watch that show. I am so not a fan.
But let's give our lovely friends some recommendations for retro and modern games. Mario Sunshine.
Any Pokemon game.
Yes. Any Pokemon game, Mario Sunshine.
Oh, I'm sorry. Any Pokemon game from Gen 3
to 5.
to 5. Only reason that I'm not saying Gen 1 or Gen 2 is because those games, admittedly enough, while we like them and we think they're great, if you're just coming into the Pokemon franchise, they're going to kind of suck to you because the things that Game Freak is doing now with the Pokemon franchise, with animations, art styles, and all that, this is super bare bones compared to that.
Actually, I'll extend it to 6 because that's when Fairy type got introduced.
Yeah, and I will bring it up from Gen 3 to Gen 4.
Oh, 4 to what? 7?
No, 4 to 6,
4 to
including 6. the remakes for the 3DS.
Okay.
Like, while we love the original Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, not everybody that is new to Digimon Pokemon would probably like that.
Oh, and then of course you have the Oris remakes that came out in Gen 6, so you could play those instead of...
that's what I was saying.
That's
and for those of you who don't know what Oris is, Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, they're literally remakes of Ruby and Sapphire, with Emerald being added as post-game instead of being made its own game.
Now, for games, like, if you want to know specifically, Platinum for Gen 4, because that's the full experience plus all the things I mentioned. Then you have Heart Gold Soul Silver, which we already gushed about.
Heart Gold Soul Silver would also be like a great pickup instead of playing the original Gold and Silver.
You should play Black and White and Black and White 2. You should experience these games.
I'd say play Black and White 2, skip Black and White. If you're gonna play one, pick one.
So, I say play one version, like play either black one or
Black
white
one or Black 2. White one or White 2.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, because in my opinion, I'm still 100% of the opinion that Black and White and Black and White 2 were relatively, for the most part, the same game. The only difference was the plot of who was doing something. But you still ran through the same cities, collecting the same ancient badges. What?
Don't worry about it.
I heard it. It sounded like yeah. I wasn't trying to say that. I was trying to say cities. I apologize.
And then of course play X and Y to get, one, Mega Evolution. You have to experience Mega Evolution, and at some point in your life, you have to experience Mega Evolution.
They have.
Well, I know with
Pokemon
Pokemon Go, but I'm saying in its original capacity, where it came from.
Nah, watching Mega Evolution happen in the game was great. Just like watching Gigantamaxing for the first time. Personally,
If there's any gimmicks that I want back in Pokemon, it'd be one of those two. Just saying.
Metroid Prime would also be another game.
Yeah.
Prime, Twilight Princess, Majora's Mask, Ocarina of Time.
Wind Waker.
Either the 3DS version or the GameCube version of Ocarina of Time.
Wind Waker for the Wii U until it gets. There's another game that Nintendo please port because I know because the Wii U's not very easy to find, blah blah blah. But the Wii U version is more accessible than the GameCube version because GameCube games are $1 bajillion.
Yep. Also, another game that's going to be a curveball, SSX3.
Yeah.
SSX3 is another game. SSX3, Burnout, any of the early Need for Speed games.
Now for our modern games, God of War Ragnarok.
Hell yes.
Any of the new Spider-Man games, just do it.
Yep.
We played 2 of the 3 and we're playing the 3rd right now. So
Yep.
yeah. Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
Kingdom Hearts.
Oh yeah.
Not Melodies of Memory.
No. Do not pay $60 to play a rhythm game.
Unless you like rhythm games.
Unless you like rhythm games, but do not pay $60 for some cutscenes. Don't do it.
Kingdom Hearts, yeah. 1.5, 2.5, final mixes. Those and Kingdom Hearts 3. Fantastic.
Yes.
Metroid Dread.
Yes.
Splatoon 3.
Yes. Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild. Yes.
Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, Sword and Shield.
Yes.
Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl.
Yes.
Legends Arceus.
Oh yeah, definitely that one as well. Like, well, we mentioned it earlier. Borderlands 3.
What?
Borderlands 3.
Oh yeah, Borderlands 3.
Bam.
Need for Speed Heat.
Yes.
If you could swing it, Unbound is still just as good.
I feel like there's a game I'm missing.
Digimon World Next Door. That's an oddity, an oddball.
That's a good shout. I like that.
If you like Digimon World Next Order, Hacker's Memory, or Cyber Sleuth.
What is wrong with me? Super Mario Odyssey.
Yes.
Fantastic game.
The Bayonetta franchise.
Oh yeah. Cause three just came out a year ago.
Yep.
Yeah.
Devil May Cry 5.
Definitely DMC 5.
Or any of the Devil May Cry games, because technically they're available on PSN. Except for DMC. DMC prequel, I do believe, was an Xbox exclusive. I don't think it was on PlayStation. I don't think the prequel was available on PlayStation.
Maybe. You might be right about that. I don't remember. Trying to think. Oh, Gran Turismo 7.
Oh, okay. So DMC was a reboot.
Yep.
DMC Devil May Cry was a reboot, and then I guess that flopped, so they actually just made a sequel to Devil May Cry 4.
That's why I said what I said earlier, because I'm like, that's the one that a lot of people did not like. But the Dante, that style of Dante is in PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, which is a very good game. It's a Smash Bros. Clone, but a good Smash Bros. Clone. Sorry to all of you who may like...
okay, it was available on PS3.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
I played it on Xbox 360. That's why I thought it was it was Heresy, but I played it on 360.
Shoot, what was I saying? I don't remember. Whatever.
Sorry.
It's fine. Something about PlayStation also Battle Royale. Crap.
You said it's Smash Bros. Clone.
Yes. So, I'm sorry to all of you who like Nickelodeon Battle Brawl or whatever it's called.
Brawl Stars.
Yeah, there we go. That and metaverses, but yeah, no, that PlayStation All Stars was that thing. And me and my friend got very good after meeting two people online who played as the characters we played as. He played as Dante, and I played as Raiden from Metal Gear. So yeah, but that wraps it up for the pre-season finale episode of the Nerd Guys podcast. Did you like it? I hope you did. If you did, make sure you support your boys by clicking all the links below to make sure you can support your boys in any way that you can.
Yep. Check out some of our other channels. We have gaming channels. I have an automotive channel. Check out our Instagrams as well. Everything's linked below. Join the Discord. Come join Twitch as well. You can see the live taping of Nerd Guys podcast.
And you can be a part of the conversation.
Be a part of the conversation, because despite how it seems, we actually do like converse with the audience while we're recording these podcasts. And like we even take questions and everything while we're recording the podcast.
And again, please, I'm asking you, please submit questions. Please. We want to do a Q&A for Nerd Guys.
Yep. Also, if you want to submit an idea for a topic,
drop it in
Discord.
Drop it in the comments, or come to the Discord and drop your ideas there.
I'm going to say drop it in the Discord.
Okay.
If you don't have a Discord, yeah, drop it in the comments. But drop it in the Discord. It's easier. We have an entire file for everything in the Discord, or an entire server in the Discord dedicated to just topic suggestions for Nerd Guys.
Yes.
So
drop your suggestions, drop your questions in the Discord server.
And let's chat. Do you have a different opinion? If you have a different opinion, drop it down in the comments below. If you want to carry that conversation over to the Discord, stop by the House of Shadows Discord and
chat it up with us.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, if you have experience with any of these things that we've covered,
or if you know any Nintendo execs or Capcom execs,
come and talk to us. We would love to hear your experiences.
Or Sega execs.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's it, guys. So we will see you for the season finale of
Nerd Guys Podcast, Season 1.
This is Jamie Shadow.
And Kitsune Sai.
And we are out.
Peace.
Bye!